Good morning guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today is a Sunday. It's a lovely glorious Sunday. You can hear the church bells ringing in the background, the sun is shining, the birds are singing, and you've probably guessed it, we're out doing some more metal detecting. So I'm again with Mr Tweed. We've come back to a permission that we've done a few times. It's the permission, if you've seen my channel before, where we found some lovely medieval pennies, some nice Roman coins, and Mr Tweed was lucky enough in the summer to find an absolutely beautiful Bronze Age spear tip. So we've come back today hopefully to find some more bits. We're in completely different fields. We've never ever been in these fields before. There's lots of history around these particular fields. There's an old rectory, there's lots of caves, there's footpaths, lots of really interesting historical items. So hopefully the bits that we find in the ground today are going to reflect the history that's around here. But that's enough talking. We've got a full day's detecting today. So come along for the ride, hit play. You guys are going to see everything we find first. And that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching my videos. As always, it does mean a lot to me. And if you do like what I do and you do like the video, please consider subscribing. It's completely free. It's not going to take any money from your bank. And of course, if you do like the permission that we're on today, then give us a thumbs up as well. That just means that we know it's a good permission to come back to and that you guys want to see a bit more of it. So that's enough talking. As I said, we've got a lot of digging to do, but stay tuned and I'll see you on the first hole. Okay guys, so it's that time of day. I've just had my very first target in this new field, and it appears to be some sort of round coiny type thing. I don't think it's a button because it's got no evidence that there was anything attached to the back, but I'm not even too sure it's a coin because if you look quite closely it's got this quite large rim going all the way around the outside. It looks to me like it could be some type of pendant of some kind, but it's not holed, so it's potentially a pendant that could have been mounted, possibly like some sort of early St Christopher type pendant, something like that. But that's the first find. I mean, I know there's no detail left on it at all and it's completely baked, but yeah, that's not too bad. Just means that obviously there are people here, which is obviously always a good thing, and hopefully we might get some more good bits. So I'll try and clean it up the best I can. Can't promise I'm going to get much detail from it, but hopefully that's going to be a pretty interesting little find. Okay, so I've just had my very second target in the field today. It's quite an interesting little item actually. I don't think it's very old. Looks to me like it's some type of furniture fitting or something like that. Maybe on the corner of a nice piece of furniture. But then it could also be the foot to something as well. I'd say it's definitely a copper alloy, a lot of bronze, a lot of copper in there for sure. Would have been quite a decorative little piece, but I don't think it's of any historical value, unfortunately. But yeah, there's that one. Let's move on. Hopefully we get something good. Okay, so I think I've just had a coin. It seems to be stuck in this piece of mud here. I don't think it's got much detail left on it, as always. But it's certainly stuck in this piece of mud. I haven't looked at the other side yet, so we can certainly peel it out and have a look together. But I don't want to rub it too much, obviously, because I don't want to make it any worse. Not that I think you can make it any worse. But let's have a look, see what we've got. Okay, here we are. That's pretty much what I saw. Obviously it was part of a a larger sort of coin ball type thing, but the other half's broken off. That's the top. Let's peel it out and have a look. Is there anything on there? There might be a little bit of detail on there. Or is that just corrosion? I think it's possibly just corrosion. As I said, I don't want to rub it too much. It's too much of a risk really. If there is a tiny bit of information on there, even if it's just a small bit, it can help identify the coin, and that obviously can date what we're finding, and that's obviously the most important part. But yeah, judging by its size, its thickness, it's probably 1700s, maybe very early 1800s, something like that. But there we are. That's the second coin. Let's move on. Still got a bit of the fill to do, so let's keep going. Okay, so I think I've just found a pipe tamper, or some type of tamper. Anyway, it's quite a small object. It's not broken, so it's obviously designed to be this size. And as you can see, it's got this big sort of flat round domed bit on the bottom, and it was for the gentleman to carry around in his pocket. Nice and small, nice little accessory, and when he'd loaded his pipe he could just pull this out, use the flat bit to squash down all the tobacco, and then obviously he's ready to go for a smoke. So yeah, I don't find many pipe tampers, probably sort of Victorian I would imagine, this one, but still quite a cool little find. I'm happy with that. I'm still on a good path, not been here for very long, so let's keep going. Hopefully we get some more interesting bits. Okay, so I've just had a coin here. Doesn't look like a battered or toasted coin like I've had before. It actually looks a little bit like a 1 penny. It's covered in dirt. So let's clean it off and see if we can get any detail from it. So there's obviously a bit of detail on there, isn't there? But we can't really make out the monarch. It's quite corroded. Quite confident in saying that this is definitely a 1 penny, just by the size of it and the size of the thickness of the coin itself. But it was super deep. It was coming up at about 66 on the DS2, and I did think to myself, I've not dug a 66 yet, but it was a very clean sort of sounding target. And yeah, I dug it, and it turned out to be this this 1 penny, which is really, really deep. I'd say it was about sort of 8 inches deep. So that's probably why it was obscuring the signal a little bit. But I'm pretty sure the date on this penny here says 1906. So that's turn of the century, First World War era. 1 penny would be a nice George on the back there, but unfortunately it's a little bit far gone. And yeah, there's that one. Let's carry on, see what else we can find. Okay, seeing as we're close to Mr Tweed, let's do a little roundup and see what you found today, Mr Tweed.
Hello, I'm just trying to separate all the stuff from the last trip, from this trip. There we go. That's about it.
Separating all the gold.
But yeah, don't want to show you that. I've had loads of buckles.
Loads of buckles?
Loads and loads of buckles. Oh, shoot.
Have a look.
Bigger hands, don't I?
Oh wow, I like that one. That's really nice.
Drop something. Yeah, there's more buckles.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, I'll lay that on my leg, look. That'll be better. So.
Wow. 1, 2, 3,
absolutely
4,
tons of them.
5. A little tiny one.
And that, whatever that is, it's some sort of hook or something.
You are basically like a buckle magnet.
I am today, which is quite nice because I don't often find buckles all the time. Also had that, no idea what that is. So if anybody knows.
Is it a trade weight?
Anything. Well, I thought that, but it looks like it's got a lot of iron on the inside. So
you might find it's got a it's like a cap for something. It might have a threaded bit inside. It might have screwed onto something.
That's true.
You might have to clean it up to find out. Oh, and some buttons as well.
Yeah, some buttons, and I've got a couple of George III, normally crusty. You can just about make out Britannia on that side.
Yeah.
And the head on that side, but not much more.
This field has not been very kind to coins, has it?
No, definitely not.
There is some really toasted ones. Oh, some lovely bit of decoration on there.
Nice little button. It's
really nice.
Unfortunately, the hoop's fallen off the back, but
might have been like a button casing, you know?
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Like that. But that's probably a few hundred years old, isn't it?
Easily, yeah, definitely. So I think there was a lot of activity here in the 1800s. I think, given what you found as well, I think we can happily say that,
there's definitely
lots of folks around there.
Here, yeah, for sure. Okay, so sticking with the theme of buttons, I've just gone and found myself quite a nice little button. I wouldn't say it was tremendously old, this one, maybe 100 years old, but really interesting decoration on it. It's almost reminds me of like a brick wall type pattern or something like that. Certainly never seen a button with that type of decoration on, and you can see the remnants of gold gilding on there. So once this would have been a very shiny, quite prestigious item. But unfortunately now it's just reduced to pretty much junk, really. But I'll clean it up, you never know, there might be a maker's mark on there or something like that, and might give me something to research if ever I, find myself with a spare few minutes. So there we are, guys, a nice button. Let's push on, see what else we get. Okay, so I've just had a target down here. Took me a lot of digging to find this target, as you can probably see. And it was super deep. I kept on taking another shovel out, putting the pinpointer in, finally getting it, and it turned out to be a really nice horse brass. But that is probably a foot, maybe a little bit more, deep into the ground. So yeah, we're definitely getting some good depth in this field today. And I know this is quite a large copper alloy find, so it's going to be highly conductive. But if you're finding stuff like that at that depth, then you know you're definitely doing something right. So quite happy with the settings. Anyway, this horse brass, really nice. Looks like a sort of 1700s, maybe late 1600s. It's got a really nice sort of copper plate initial on the front of it. And it looks like either a B or an E, leaning towards more of an E. So that definitely would have related to somebody local here. And would have been very shiny, high gilt at some stage. Would have looked absolutely lovely on the horse, and obviously I've just pulled it out the ground and managed to save a little bit of history. So I might speak to the landowner on our way back and see whether or not that bears any resemblance, or if he knows anybody that might once have belonged to. But there we are, a super horse brass, super deep. Let's push on. Okay guys, so if you remember at the start of the video, I said that very near the permission that me and Mr Tweed were detecting in today was a cave. So we were eating our dinner and we both sort of pepped ourselves up a bit to come and have a look in the woods to see if we could find it. And we did, we actually found it. It took a little bit of foraging through the woods, it's obviously very overgrown now. But yeah, this is the cave, and the farmer was telling us that it was excavated back in the 60s. They managed to pull all the rubble and all the sort of vegetation that was stuck in the bottom out, and as they were clearing it they found things like prehistoric bones, there was mammoth bones, I think there was some sort of saber-toothed tiger or something like that, and they also found some Bronze Age stuff, so some tools, and I think there was a small handful of Roman coins in here as well. So we were just discussing that at some point the landscape obviously would have been quite barren. and now this is hidden amongst the small young woodland. But I think back then this was probably just a massive outcrop of rock just stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and would have made an absolutely excellent shelter, whether you're a Bronze Age man or a woman, a Roman soldier looking to get out of the wind and the rain, or maybe even further on into the medieval period as well. So I'll just quickly take you in with the camera. We can't go in too far because it drops down about 15 foot or so, but I'll show you what I can see from the surface. It's pretty cool. Come and have a look. Okay, so this is the entrance that we could see as we were peering through the woodland. Really didn't think we were going to find this cave, but we did see it eventually, and yeah, it's really cool. As you can see, it's quite echoey, and down the bottom there you can see where it sort of drops down. It is about 15 foot down there, and what's really cool about it is that there appears to be another opening, which is down there, in there. And the landowner said that he has been down there when he was a younger boy, and he went through the opening and there was another huge cavern inside of that opening. Me and Mr Tweed both think that that particular opening down there is possibly man-made, because it's almost like a sort of oval type shape down there. But unfortunately we can't get down there. We don't have a ladder. And we really don't want to risk climbing down these rocks, because neither me or Mr Tweed are rock climbers. Avid metal detectorists maybe, but not rock climbers.
No, don't fancy getting stuck down there.
So yeah, it's really cool. And actually up here in the roof of the cave you can see there's some like really cool holes that have been cut into the roof as well, maybe to expel some smoke, but they could also be just from years and years of water finding little holes and then making them into bigger holes eventually. But yeah, we were really chuffed. Mr Tweed has had a little go with his detector around here and found a couple of little bits. Nothing tremendously old, was it?
No,
just a little buckle type thing and a scrap piece of copper. But as I said, these caves were quite heavily excavated in the 1960s. I think they were discovered in terms of the written archive in about the 1860s or 1880s, something like that. So yeah, there we are guys, the caves, or the cave, but hopefully one day we'll be able to come back, go down there with a ladder and actually get into that that other chamber, which would be really cool. We'd need a beer or two for that, wouldn't we, Mr Tweed?
Whiskey or 6, I think.
Yeah, 6 or so whiskies and we'll be down there having a party. But there we are guys, we just wanted to show you the cave. Let's get back detecting. We've got a whole afternoon and hopefully we find some treasure. Okay guys, so we're in the new field. Not really had many targets in here so far yet. But again, the farmer did say earlier that this field has never been ploughed, so anything we are finding is super duper deep and very weak signals. So we've had to sort of tune our detectors a little bit to try and get the most depth out of the field as we can. And I've just had a target down here. This again was very sort of faint. It was coming up around 55, something like that. It was a nice signal. It wasn't sort of choppy, or it didn't have the grunt behind it. So I thought I'll dig it anyway. Turned out it was a really deep target and a tiny buckle. It's a little spectacle buckle, this one. And it's probably got some age to it. It's probably 200 or 300 years old for sure. And as you can see, it's got the intact pin going across the middle, and obviously the strap obviously would have passed through there. But yeah, there's not much decoration on it, but it's a nice little copper alloy buckle. And it does obviously mean that, you know, if we're looking to find things that potentially are this old, then they're going to be this deep. And that's easily 6 to 7 inches without a shadow of a doubt. So there we are, there's a buckle. We've got a few hours left. We're going to push on and hopefully we get something good. Okay guys, so I've had another target down here. It's coming up quite a low number. It's about sort of 55, something like that. But I thought, well, if things in here are going to be deep, then chances are that's probably why they've got such a low number. So again, I was digging and digging, had to literally go to the bottom again twice, and found a tiny little lead item. So this doesn't really look like it's anything much at all. But I cleaned it up and I noticed that there was this sort of marking on the front of it, and I don't know if that's got any relevance to anything at all, but you can tell by the colour of the lead that it's quite old lead, because it's very white, which means it's oxidised, which means it's been in the ground for some time. But yeah, is it purposely marked? For what reason would it have been marked? What does the marking even mean? Or is it even not a marking? Is it just something where it's been damaged slightly from being in the ground? I don't know, but it's still a pretty cool little find, even though it's just made of lead. Maybe anyone out there can tell me something about that, maybe not, but I certainly don't know anything about it. But there we are, a little lead item, probably about 9 inches down in this field. But there we go, get in the depth, let's see what else comes out. Okay guys, so we are now at the end of another day's metal detecting, and unfortunately it wasn't the best day ever. We didn't get loads of good finds or anything like that we were hoping for, but you know, we gave it a go. We were in some of the fields that were furthest away from the farmstead and the church in the village. It was a pretty long shot. We kind of just wanted to go in there and see what was in there really, and the reason why we thought they might be quite good is because they were quite close to that cave that we showed you in the video, and also that there was an old trackway on the other side that ran through and that went down to an old rectory as well. So we thought, do you know what, at some stage in history somebody might have gone in there and done something. Certainly, you know, especially if we've been finding lots of good things around this permission as well. But today wasn't our day, and that is metal detecting. Unfortunately, you can't go out every time and find something, but we both had an absolutely great day. It's been, you know, considering it's November now, quite warm. Certainly hasn't rained, which is good, and no wind at all. It's just been really, really still, really nice. Good to get out, get some fresh air, and you never know, if something comes out the ground, happy days. So that leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do subscribe. There's a little button below here. If you click it, it's free of charge. It's not going to cost you anything at all. It just means that you get a notification every time I upload a video. And if you like permission and you like what I do, give me a thumbs up as well. That always means a lot. Just helps keep me motivated. So that's enough for this video. There's plenty more to come, so stay tuned to the channel. And until the next time guys, see you all soon.